Hello, everybody. How are you? So nice to see you on. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, June.
Hello. Oh, you made it. You found us. Did we
Yeah,
go to spam?
no, you
Oh,
didn't, which is
yeah. Okay,
good.
good. Okay, that works out well. All right. So everyone's just popping on now. I might just start talking just so that the recording doesn't have a whole lot of just me saying hello to everyone. So welcome to the Little Psychic School event tonight. For those of you that don't know what's happening, hopefully you do. This is our Little Psychic School's photo channeling demo featuring our guest presenter for the night, which is going to be Alyce Castello, who is the Bohemian Lightworker, aka. We will introduce her, or she will talk in a moment. I'm just still admitting people in, but for those of you who don't know me, my name is June Mack. I am also a psychic medium and psychic teacher. Along with Shannon, the intuitive guide, who is just up the top there waving, who will speak in a moment. So we run the Little Psychic School, who is the event holder of the night. And I guess what the Little Psychic School is, just quickly so you know, is actually I guess it's a Lightworkers community or a platform that helps with your intuitive development. So basically from any level, you can be a complete newbie who've always wanted to develop your intuitive or psychic gifts. And we also have people in there who are actual light workers themselves, or who have been working in the industry for a little while, have their own businesses. And basically we hold events like this. So every month, so similar to this, we have regular practices, Q&As, readings, demonstrations. We also have like a library of pre-recorded content in there, so you can learn like as soon as you jump in. So we have at the moment, just for a limited time as well, an 8-week Little Psychic Beginners course. So that's just will be available till the end of the year, included in the membership. But basically, for coming tonight, everyone gets 1 week free trial. So you will get that in your email probably tomorrow or the day after. So thank you so much for coming. littlepsychicschool.com if you want to find out more about us, or you can reach out on Instagram at the Little Psychic School, or you can reach out to me at Ms. June Mack, or to Shannon, who's at Shannon the Intuitive Guide on Instagram or Facebook too. So if you've got any questions, just let us know. We have a little chat box going tonight too. I think, Shannon, if you could help me moderate the chat box too, so I can keep an eye on admitting people as they come and go. But in saying that, Shannon, did you want to introduce yourself and Alyce?
So good evening, everyone. Thank you. It's so wonderful to see so many familiar faces and some new faces too. So tonight, many of you guys know you've met me, but I am Shannon, the Intuitive Guide, Shannon Miller in the normal world. But I'm also a psychic medium, psychic teacher, and tarot card reader, and business partner for June Mack, which is probably one of the highest points up there and most exciting. Tonight, guys, what we're going to be doing is 3 photo channel readings demonstrated by Alyce. So that's really exciting. We have 2 people already who have been selected, but the 3rd spot is open. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is we're going to pick someone randomly who's on tonight. So if you are keen, what I'm going to ask you guys to do is to send Alyce a photo of your past loved ones, and she is going to randomly select someone throughout tonight's session workshop, and so it's a sort of like a surprise winner of that 3rd person who's going to do that. So in a minute, what I will do is I will put in Alyce's handle, the Instagram handle, into the chat, and you guys can find her on there whilst you're going. So fingers crossed. So what I'm going to do now is hand over to Alyce. She is known as the Modern Light Worker. She is a psychic medium. She's a healer and an all-round amazing human being. And we're so excited to have her on tonight. So guys, I'm going to hand over to Alyce now. I'm going to pop the handle in the chat. Start sending your photos through. I can't wait to see who gets picked. But yeah, any questions as we go along? If you are being read for, please pop yourself off mute so Alyce can have a two-way conversation instead of just out there into the ether, into the silence. But anyone else who's got any questions, if you could just pop that in the chat, June and I will keep an eye on that throughout tonight's workshop. But Alyce, over to you.
Hi, thank you so much. So excited to be here tonight. So I'm Alyce. I am known as the Bohemian Lightworker on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And basically, I'm a psychic medium and energy healer. I am very about feeling the way someone feels. So spirit will show me physical symptoms, or I might feel pain from a person's body. So when I do readings, I might start saying, oh, I feel like I'm choking, or I can't breathe, or I feel pain in my chest, or I feel physical symptoms in my head. So this is sometimes how I will connect with spirits. So it's not painful, it's very temporary, but it is a good way to know what that person went through prior to their passing or near the end of their passing. But yes, I absolutely love doing this work, and I'm so excited to be here tonight to connect with everybody. Photo channeling is something I did when I first started learning. So when I would go to mentor groups, they would, do different things different nights. And on one night, they're like, here's a photo, give it a go. And I would just go kind of crazy all of a sudden. They're like, okay, yep, just stop now. I was like, oh, okay. Like, it was very weird. It just came out of a natural place. And so then I just started doing, like, when I started doing it properly, in this industry, I was like, oh, I'll do some photo channeling nights and see how they go. And people loved it. So I am excited to try and do that for you tonight. Basically, when I do get a photo, I will channel through the eyes. So I look at the photo, get a feeling of that person, almost like you feel their aura, their body, those sorts of things. But I look directly through the eyes because I find the eyes are like that soul connection. And once I go through that, I find it just opens everything up for me, and I just start to feel everything. So yeah, that's how I usually do it. But yeah, I'll be doing a masterclass in a couple of weeks where I can actually teach you how to do that. It's actually quite simple and quite easy. So if you are starting out, or you're kind of learning, it's a great way for you to feel like, oh, I can get into psychic mediumship quicker. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I think that something interesting for tonight is that if you are interested in getting into this space, or if you are in this space, it's really a great idea to sort of try a whole bunch of different things to see like what is your thing. And I guess Alyce has really vibed with photo channeling, and you're not going to know unless you give it a go to see if that is your thing. So some people can connect easier if it's a photo, if they're holding an object. So you guys have probably seen people holding objects or psychometry, and which is also called psychometry, where they can connect to the past over loved ones. Some people like a name. Some people just want to know like what relationship they are to you. Some people need nothing. It's just, yeah, everyone's different. So it's really fun to have a play with kind of what your thing is. And it's a lot easier than people think. So if you are interested in joining Alyce's masterclass, it's $35. It's on the 28th. I think, of October. And you can sign up, so at thelittlepsychicschool.com. Just scroll down a bit, you'll see the events, or in any of our link in bios. So Alyce's link in bio, the Little Psychic School's link in bio, or June Mac's link in bio, you can sign up. So it's really cheap, and it will be really fun. But I guess Alyce is going to do her thing now. So there were two people. So originally, it's funny, guys, that we did pick three people, but then the person, yeah, the third person dropped out. So that's why you guys get a chance tonight, which worked out well for you guys to have the third reading. But tonight we had, so Alyce, there was either Claire or Janie. Who do you feel drawn to read first?
I'm just having a look at their photos quickly just to feel who's going to come through for me quickly. I think I'm going to read Claire. So is it Janie?
Yep. So Claire is the picture of the woman, and Janie is the picture of the male. So
Yeah, I'm feeling confident.
you're feeling Claire first?
Yeah.
All right, Claire, could you just raise your hand via Zoom so that you're at the top? Do you know how to do that? I think it's down the bottom under reaction. So react.
Is it Claire?
Raise hand.
Is
It
it
says
wait, who's the person? Is it Janie, the person in
she's
the
so Claire, no, so she hasn't said who the person is in the picture. You can put yourself off mute, Claire. So her picture is the female.
yes, the female, right?
Claire, you can
Hello.
yeah, there. So yes, Claire, her picture is the female. And she hasn't given the name. So Janie is the name of this who the second reading is for, who is the picture of the male.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm just
Yeah, sorry.
terrible.
Just
This
leave
is
your hand up, Claire, if you like. Yeah, just so you're at the top.
okay, awesome. I don't need a name, but is this like your mum or like mum connection? Yes, okay, cool. Just double checking that space there. All right, let's have a look. Just gonna connect through her eyes and get a feeling of her space. Okay, so just quickly, the first thing that comes through to me is that I actually starting to feel a bit like sick and a bit nauseous. And so to me that indicates like that she was quite unwell before her passing, and I feel like I just feel sick. Like so before her passing, was there like a feeling of like being unwell, or was there any medicines or things that were making her sick?
Not that I know of.
Okay, so was it a health related passing though?
Not that I know of.
Okay, so just quickly before validating like any information, was this a long time ago that she passed, and so you're not 100% sure of validating the information just yet?
I know exactly what happened.
Okay.
It was
You don't have to say anything else. Just wanting to make sure, like, are you not sure? So you know exactly what happened. Was it a while ago that she passed though?
it,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it was 10 years ago, but I know I was there. So
Okay, perfect, perfect. Just because sometimes when it's been a long time, it can be harder to validate the information, and it can be like, oh, I don't remember what happened. So I like to just double check that space. All right, let me double check in her energy. Yeah, I still get a feeling of being unwell, and I still get a feeling. So it is health related passing, just to double check, like, was this indicated in the last few weeks or leading up to her? There was like a feeling of like being unwell prior to this as well.
well, she didn't verbalize it to anyone.
Okay, perfect. So leading up to this, and I'm seeing like in the like 6 to 12 months prior to her passing, feels like things were getting worse, or I was deteriorating in that 6 to 12 months prior to passing. There's a feeling around other people or someone else, or there was something that contributed this. So I feel like there's a feeling of like someone else, there was an emotional loss around her, or some other things that contributed to her emotional state prior to this. Does that make sense to you?
Fuck off.
Oh, I'm just making sure the door's shut. Sorry.
I mean, okay, I'm remembering like there was something that kind of happened. There was a loss that year. Yes, I'm remembering that now.
Okay, perfect. That's all I need to know. I just need to know to validate that space. So for me, I'm sorry, the cat's just going. Oh my God, this is what happens. Like the family comes along. Yes, I know you're here.
That's what I mean with the dogs. Why are they playing up?
Okay, sorry, I'll go back to that space. So for me, what she's showing me is that there was a lot of things contributing to things, but I have a smile on my face, so you wouldn't know, or there was a lot of the time is like, I was one of those cases where people will see me in one way, and it's almost like a split personality in some ways, if that makes sense. So I'm showing you in one way how I am, and in another space, I am not feeling so good. Okay. I feel as though I tried. There's this feeling of like, I tried, but my sensitive soul, my energy, the way I pick up on things wasn't good for me. And it was very, very hard for me to cope. But the loss, like the things around the loss, like this is what really like contributed to a breakdown of like where I was. I like became unhealthy with things. I had an unhealthy relationship with things as well. So there's a feeling around like other indicators. So sometimes that might be you know, how do I say it, like gently, so if I drank something, or like, do you know what I mean, like just to cope with certain things at times, and not like crazily, it's just like there was like other factors that like helped numb me or make me feel a little like spaced out at times. Does this make sense to you?
Not that I know.
That's okay. And sometimes it might be that where you are, I feel like you're quite young, and you were quite young at this time. So there was a lot of hidden things from you. Or like, I did not want my kids to see what I was going through. Was she still like married or husband in the relationship? Okay. There's a feeling around communication was a little off here too, around them like letting him know or knowing what was going on. But I feel like he was trying as well, but he didn't really know how to deal with this situation. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me just have another look at her photo. I just want her to clarify some things. This is a hard one to talk about because I am very careful with boundaries and talking about things. So I feel like it's makes me nervous to bring it up in such a public setting, if this makes sense. So it makes me like there's just a lot of, this feels like a really heavy loss to you, and quick at the end. And I feel like I'm trying to say it in a way that like, I feel like it had a lot to do with her mental health state. Does that make sense? As well.
Not really, not that I know of, but I don't, it, without telling you, it's sort of like it, I would say no. Yeah.
Let me have a look at her. Is her mum passed as well?
Yeah.
Because I feel like she's with mum. So I'm getting this feeling of like, I'm with my mum, I'm like connected to mum, and I just wanting you to know that I'm connected with mum. Yeah. Well, just the way that I feel around her energy is that I do feel like I'm just picking up on a lot of like health and mind is like not good around that time. Does that make sense to you? Okay. And this feels very quick at the end, if this makes sense. So around her passing, I feel quite quick at the very end of this space, and that it just happened quite suddenly. And then we're here, we're gone, and this is what's happened. I feel as though but was there a 24-hour period where, or something where you could like see her, or there's something around like a 24-hour period of seeing her? This may have been before or after her passing, but there's something around seeing her 24 hours. Does that make sense to you?
I mean, I saw her after.
Yeah. And it would have been only for like a short period of time after. Yeah. Okay, cool. So this is feeling of like this like laid in your body for a little while, or a feeling of like a little bit of traumatizing for a period of time for you after. And she's coming through very much to me like, I'm so sorry that I had to like put you through that space, because I feel like you had to grow up and be strong and had to go through a lot of things around this time that were like really hard for you and really struggling. And I feel like you had to step up even for your dad, was it? Like, because there's a feeling of like needing that extra support. And I'm like, I feel like you had to do things that like I would have never wanted you to do. And I feel like responsible for putting you in that situation. So it makes me feel like really, really like she's just wanting to come through saying, I'm sorry for putting you in that situation and making you uncomfortable to go through that. But she says that you are actually very spiritual and very connected. And sometimes these things that happen through, like, we're put in these situations in order for you to heal and grow in a different way, and for you to be there in a different way for other people. Okay. So I want you to know that she's like, even though this was such a heavy lesson or such a heavy, like hard space for you to be in, it is something that you will like help others with in trauma and trauma response, and dealing with things that have happened in the past is going to really help you with your spiritual journey going forward and allowing others to heal. I don't know if you work in the spiritual field or like energy healing, but there's going to be a lot of people that you're drawn to around family trauma or family stress, and this feels connected to like mums like guiding you through this space of like helping you understand this, and as you do this, it's going to help you grow as well. So she very much says like this is going to help guide you through that space, but no, she's very much at peace, and that she comes through like, maybe I just wasn't meant to be here for a long time, and that's completely okay. That I'm not always, sometimes it's just my alignment, my time to pass. So she comes through very much like, I'm okay. I lived a beautiful life. I was very lucky with my family, and I knew that I was very loved by you, and I'm very lucky to have had that connection. And, she wants you to know like that she'll guide you through any step that you need. She feels very close to your energy anyway. So very close as in like, not your spirit guide, but like to the side. So it's like, I'm sort of like guiding you in these right directions. And I feel very much like you're very aware of her. Does she wear a certain fragrance? There's something like coming through that you're aware of, like smelling it or feeling it. It's like I know when she's around me because like I can smell something specific to her. And it's like, oh, this is not what I expected. So she's like, I'm coming through in this way so you know that I'm there. She's also come to you previously in a dream, and at the end of your bed, there's a feeling around like being there and knowing that she's there, or a feeling of like feeling her presence in your room, because she's saying like, I was there, like, no, that my energy was right there with you. So I don't know if you have felt that or seen that, but I feel like this is what she's showing me, like I was right there with you. So no, very much like that's this confirmation of her connection to you there. Okay. But yeah, she's so beautiful. She's kind of quirky and cute, and she has this funny energy. But she's like almost like socially extroverted, like introverted, sorry, where she like can be bubbly in public but likes to be at home, or there's like a feeling of like, oh, I can shine in public, but then I'm like, oh, I just like to be at home. I like my space. I like my way from people. But when I'm out, like I can be quite bubbly in that way. So she comes through in that way. And did she like quite creative, like making things or like doing things up? Because I get this like really creative flair in her energy, and she's like doing things and creating things and making things, and like she was very good at that. So she was like, yeah, and you have some of that creative energy in you as well. So she says like, you get that from me, keep going with what you're doing. Are you making things as well for your work? So like maybe like sprays or like things to help with connection, or like candles, like something earthy, holistic, real like or you're going to, I feel the feeling of like something in your workspace you're going to make for like that you can sell, that is connected to your energy and feels very chakra related, or like connected to like alignments or rebalancing. I don't know. I just see this for you as like something that you're going to start having or offering to people when you do this work. But yeah, very much, she says you're very creative in that space. And do you paint? There's a feeling of like painting or going back to painting or doing something you haven't done for a long time, like with like connection to this. I don't know if you've done it for a long time, but there's a feeling of like
terrible at painting, but
pardon?
I'm terrible at painting, but who knows?
Like going back to something I did when I was younger, like recreate, but not as like a work thing. Do you know what I mean? Like this is like fun, creative space for you, like that connection. So yeah, don't think you're gonna be like out next Picasso type thing. I just mean, you're going back to that creative space. And there's a feeling of like having her jewelry. There's a feeling of like having her. Did you get her stuff when she passes? A feeling of like a little box of things, and there's like quite a bit of jewelry in this box, or there's like, and this is just not your. There's not like gold and silver and all that. Yes, there might be a little bit of. There's a feeling of like lots of other jewelry, or like things that are like more like what's the word, like bulkier pieces, or like
Costume jewelry?
Yeah, costume jewelry. Thank you. That's the word. I'm seeing a lot of those things that she had, like, and lots of them. So you had to like work out what you wanted to keep or how much of it that you keep there for you, sort of thing. So I see lots of that there. She goes, I know she'll never wear it, but like it's not your thing, but she like loves that you have like some certain pieces of hers there as well. But yeah, definitely there's a feeling of I don't know why I'm seeing like beach or beach related, or like after there was something to do with water or like letting go around, like was there any kind of thing where you went to the beach or had some kind of ceremony or like a letting go process? Does that make sense? I know.
I mean, I go to the beach all the time, but I didn't do any kind of letting go for her there.
Because there's a feeling around going to the beach and letting go, or having like a moment where I went and I let go at the beach. Like it was like a process of like letting go. I don't know if this was like around like the end, like near her passing, and you kind of like did it in the like 6 to 12 months like after, where you went to the beach, and it was sort of like a thing of like letting go or like talking to her on the beach. I just get this feeling of like she was like, no, she's talking to me. She was saying goodbye. She was like a process of like letting go and releasing and saying, like I can, like, I know you're with me, and I'll let you be free. I'll let you go. Does that make sense? It might come back to you later, and it might be something that you re-see. I know it's been 10 years, so it's hard to like remember everything. I don't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, so it's totally okay. But yeah, I definitely get this feeling around her. I'll just see if there's any other messages around her energy.
I think it's about 15 minutes now.
Sorry.
So it's totally, no, it's totally up to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just letting you know.
That's what I mean. It's a problem. I just start talking. I just want to, make sure there's nothing else there. Is there another sibling?
Not Earthside.
So is there a boy though? Is there like you and your dad, and then is there another child though?
So my husband would be the other person.
Male.
Yeah, the male.
Is he like a son to her though?
Yes.
Okay, because I was the feeling of like recognition of like this like connection there as well, and a feeling of like wanting to say goodbye, and like and feeling like that goodbye comes from him as well. You know what I mean? Like that feeling of like, because I felt like there was another boy, it was like you, dad, and another male there, and that's like the three that I was seeing as like really important figures in her life and her connection. And she was saying thank you so much for the love and support that you all gave me, and that sometimes life just doesn't work out this way, but thank you so much for being my rock, my support, my love through this time, and that I'll always be there for you no matter what you need. Just talk to me, and I will be there for anything. I feel her on your left side at the moment, like just going like this to your arm, if that makes sense. So you might feel a tingling down your arm, but I get this feeling of like rubbing your arm like this. I don't know if she used to do this, but I get this feeling of like going like this to you. So she just sends her love to you, and know that she's with you each and every day. I hope that helps.
Oh, it does. I just want to cry and happy. Thank you.
Yeah. No problems. I'm sorry, I was a bit nervous at first. I'm like, oh my God, it's so, it's a lot. So hopefully it finally comes through more naturally after I take a breath for a minute.
Oh, you did amazing. Did you have any feedback or anything you wanted to share with Alyce, Claire?
That's so many amazing things. And it's interesting because I had felt someone at the end of my bed one night, and I actually told about it. I remember I don't know if Shanna remembers, but I remember telling her about it and thinking, oh, there's a spirit visiting. And when you said that, I got full body shivers. I was like, oh, okay, that was mum. Like,
yeah.
Amazing. So thank you. It was just so.
And how did you pass properly? Because that's something I was like, why is it not coming through properly? Or am I just not connecting with you? Or am I nervous? Is that what it was?
Well, she had a heart attack. It was sudden. And as far as I know, she was fine leading up, but she could have kept everything to herself. I don't know. So
I definitely felt like health related was like, it was like definitely health. I actually felt sick like prior to this. And so that could have been like the contributing factor that she prior to it. And then it all just kind of went down from that way. But yeah, I definitely felt like there was a lot of emotion still around her, and a lot of like things that happened like around the mental health place as well, around leading up to like that 6 to 12 months. My mind wasn't right in the energy, and it feels like it came from something else that, you know, another loss or another kind of grief state that contributed to that mental state at that time. But yeah, definitely felt like the health related came in really fast for me at the start. But yes.
You did great. I always struggle with cause of death. So, I mean, the message was the most beautiful part anyway, and I always think that's the most important part. And you were so spot on about Claire, and she's so Claire is the only member that won from the little psychic school, one of these places, and so she is a light worker. She regularly is clearing out my chakras, so she's an amazing healer. Medium, psychic, everything. So you were really spot on with all of the light work stuff. So just wanted to let you know that you were.
Make sprays and roll-ons. That's something I've done.
Yes, I felt like there were things you were
Oh,
making.
you have made them before?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
A couple of years ago, maybe maternity leave. That was my thing because I wasn't doing healings. I was making sprays and roll-ons. So I thought, wow, like it's amazing.
Yes. Oh, I feel you going back to that space, especially like chakra alignment with like sprays. I felt like it's something like you might have different chakra sprays, like for clearing the third eye or clearing the throat. Like I just see like you have different bottles for different things, and you may use them in your work, and then you may you know, like offer them for sale as well.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Claire. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for letting Alyce read you. You did such a great job, Alyce. Do you feel better now, Alyce?
Feel a bit more relaxed because I feel
Yeah.
like, oh my God, there's so many people. This is so nerve-wracking. So
Oh,
yeah.
man, you did amazing, honestly. Yeah. I mean, it takes me a while to get into the zone as well. So I feel like it's always, for me, it's a little shakier at the start, and then you know, it takes a bit to sort of get in. So you did so great. I'm just trying to spotlight you both. So Janie is the second
Alyce. Hi.
reading it out. If anyone has any questions, by the way, for Alyce and how she sort of does what she does, or anything about that reading related, pop them up in the little chat and we can ask her later. But I'll let you talk to Janie. Welcome, Janie.
Hi, Jean.
Hi.
Hi.
This is an older photo though, yeah?
Yes.
Is this dad or granddad?
Granddad.
Okay, cool. Just confirming that space there.
Yeah.
Wow, looks like dad.
Pardon?
Does he look like dad?
Does he look like my dad?
Yes.
No.
No, I feel like the eyes, there's a connection to eyes, or something like eyes look like dad, or there's an eyes like connecting down, if that makes sense. I'm seeing like his eyes and going like this. Does that make sense? Have you never looked at his eyes? You're like, I don't know if his eyes.
No, well, can I just give you a little rundown?
Yep.
I've never met this man before.
You've never met the grandfather?
He's I found out a couple of years ago, he's my biological grandfather.
Okay.
So I've never met him.
There, yeah?
Pardon?
Someone's adopted, or there's some kind of adoption here, or like, does that make sense?
He's my mum's dad.
He's your mum's dad.
Yeah.
Wait a second, I'm just getting confused. Wait, so it's your not your dad's dad, it's your mum's dad.
Yeah.
But mum's dad, but your grandfather. Okay, wait, all right, we're in the right.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it your grandfather? But I feel like there's like a eye connection down the line. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right, that makes sense. Okay, your dad, your mum's. Okay, we're on the right line.
Yeah, it's my mum's dad.
Let's have a look. Okay, let's connect to his energy. Okay, So just quickly, I want to laugh because he's making me laugh. There's a feeling of like silliness and jokes and a little bad humor. Like, if I'm honest with you, like it's sometimes a feeling of like a little crude or a little silly around certain people. He may have different kinds of like jokes, if that makes sense. But he is coming through, and he makes me, I don't know how to say this. He's saying like I was a bit of a wild child when I was younger. Does that make sense to you? Do you know
Well,
a lot about him, like, or you
I
grew up?
know a little bit. I don't know too much. So
Okay.
yeah.
Was he not around as much? Like he passed like when you were younger, sort of thing. So you had a certain period of time with him, but then he passed, so you didn't get a lot of time with him.
Well, he's okay. So
Because there's a confusion here, isn't there?
so my nan, I think my nan had an affair.
Yeah.
So
I was getting
he's had nothing to do with my mum.
Okay, that's why I'm like, you don't know much, because I'm like, why do you not know much? And there's
Yeah.
something else here. Okay.
So he hasn't been part of my life or my mum's life because, I think my nan had an affair.
Okay. It's going to be hard to validate things only because you only know certain information, okay?
Yeah.
So I'll just come through with whatever I can bring through.
Yeah.
And I'll bring through any messages of like support or whatever I see come through. But it can be harder because it's not like you had like you grew up with them, so you know so much there. But let's have a look at what he says to me. So what instantly comes through is I've let go and I am completely free. I don't hold any resentment or anger towards anyone for anything that they had done while I was in a human form or while I was here. And so like the only thing that he feels is that it's hard that he couldn't be more in your lives or have that more of a connection, because he said, I missed out on some beautiful life experiences that I could have had there. He comes through very angry, like not angry. He's like, when I was here, I was angry. Because when they pass over, remember, they don't hold anger and stress like that.
Yeah.
So he said, when I was in human form, I was angry, or I was, angry with everybody. It feels like I got angry with everybody, not just like his wife, but he like pulled away from your mum, and he was like angry with the family, if that makes sense. Almost like he just like, it's almost like he disowned, but he disowned himself. Like he pulled himself away from everyone. It's weird. He comes through very much like he feels like everybody was in on it. Like when he was here, he was like, it's like everyone knew, or like, does that make sense? Like I was like, oh, like your mum knew, or something, like they knew. Where I don't think your mum knew very much, or she knew very minimal. So it's like, how could I be responsible for something I didn't really know much of? And I was too kind of like in a space where I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And so then I feel like you got cheated from that space of having that, there. The way that he comes through is that when he was here, he did get into a space of like, I was bitter with the world and I was bitter with things. So I really like prevented myself from having a life that could have been, so much different. If I had let go of that space and tried to work on my relationship with your mum and you, then I feel like I would have had a much different life, or would have had a much different experience. But I wasn't good at letting things go. I held grudges. I held things in my space, and that wasn't healthy for me. And eventually that did go into my body space. I feel like I had something in my body, like toxic energy or toxic space. So was there like a cancer or something in his body, or something where do you know of his passing?
Yeah, I know of his passing. It wasn't cancer. Yeah.
I feel like he had something earlier than that. Then if it wasn't the initial passing, then he may have had it as something that he had had it, and then he had something else when he passed, if that makes sense. So there's a feeling of like toxic energy in my body. There also still feels like there's things like in my blood, or like things going through my blood. So I was either not healthy in my blood, or there was something related to like the blood flow in my body. So not good in my blood, which could be heart related or connected to the heart pumping.
He did have a bypass. I do know that. Yeah.
So that would be the health around the blood and pumping things through the blood.
Yeah.
And so for me, like the way that it comes through. Also, there's some things going on with the organs, or like not good with my organs. Like did he smoke when he was younger as well?
I think so, yeah.
Getting like a smoker or a feeling of like smoking, and I feel like I didn't have the healthiest thing. I was like not a healthy person around like eating, smoking, that sort of thing. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I just got this feeling of like him like really heavily in the room with me. There's like there's like a really big intense feeling in the room. Just gonna ask to step back for a second. I just felt him like come into my space. It's gonna feel really strange, but it's like someone like went into my face like quite strangely, and I'm like, oh my God, you need to step back from me for a moment. I'm really hot and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's sometimes when they feel like they didn't complete life the way they wanted to, they find it a portal through, and then they're like, oh my God, I need to tell you everything. I need to know. I need to say sorry. I need to like explain myself. And so the way that he comes through is he's really sorry that he cheated his own life by not giving that experience, and two, he's so sorry that he couldn't experience that life with you. There's a feeling of like, you've got children. Have you got a boy?
Yep.
There's a feeling around being around a boy specifically, and like and he feels like he's like kind of surrounding him and like helping him, supporting him. This is your son, did he see spirits when he was younger or start playing with things? Like there's a feeling around like him being around your son. And I get this feeling of like him playing with him and him seeing it, so know that was him like with your son. And so he does come through with loving light now. He's changed and formed into a different person, and he comes back to like connect with you in a way like, I bring love and loving energy. But yeah, I feel for your mum's connection as well, is that he's sorry that he had so much anger and resentment there. Okay. Because he's like, I'm sorry that I took it out on you. I'm sorry that I put you through that, because your mum has this in her trauma space of like feeling abandoned by him, or feeling like he just let her go and he walked away. So knowing in her space of like, knowing I'm sorry for abandoning you in that way or making you feel that way, because that's not what I wanted, and that I just got caught up. And I know in human form, like you get caught up in the wave of emotions of anger. So I'm sorry that I did that to you. And I hope that she can move forward in this lifetime of knowing like, and letting go and releasing of that trauma, so that she can move forward with things, because so that they don't hold her back or have any resentment to male energy in this space, because she can move forward. She have a better connection. Is she married?
Mum, yeah.
And her husband's there's another grandfather figure that I feel she's bonded with or connected with, if that makes sense. So it could be like her husband's dad, or there's like a feeling around like another male energy that has kind of like swarmed in to fill a space that she may have left out in this lifetime.
Yeah, well, that would have been who I thought was my real granddad, but wasn't. So yeah, Nan's husband. Yeah.
Beautiful. I feel like that space is like, I know like it would have been nice to have had our energy there. But he goes, this other person has done a very, very good job of like space and like making her feel very loved and connected with him. But yes. So yeah, I feel like I just want to double check any other things. Do you have any questions for me that you want to know specifically from him, or anything that felt unleft or
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to like, it was very full on energy, I have to say. Like there was a lot. Like he came on you thick and fast at me. I'm sorry, freak everybody out. I'm like, oh my God, you know. But yes, no. But he's just a strong presence. His energy is a very strong energy. But he wants you to move forward, and you know, or around that sun, just quickly. So quickly around the sun energy, is there anything around learning or like schooling or something at school that's happening around that specific child? How old is this child?
He's 19.
19. So are we doing something? There's something else, like I need to learn something else, or there's a change, there's a phase, there's something like of like relearning. I don't know how to explain it. He's around this child, around a new path, around new learning. He's going to go back and forth for a little bit. I just get this feeling of like back and forth, like in and out of like spaces, like where I want to go. Does that make sense? Like I'm changing my mind. I need to refocus and then go back to learn something specific that's going to be more to my alignment. He's not following his true alignment right now. he's just doing whatever to get by, and this is not working. So he needs to sit down and go, what do I want to do with my life? Where do I want to go? What sort of things do I want to do? And this will make more sense, and he will feel like he's actually doing what he wants to do, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to settle his mind back to a calmer space. Like he'll feel differently, but he's very much around this child. Not that he's around like your other children or anything like that. It's just there's something around him that he feels like he wants to guide him into a different way.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. Oh, stop so that we
no, thank you, Alyce. You did so great, Alyce. Janie, was the reason why you wanted to connect with him just more because you you felt sad that you missed out on who this actual, like person was?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it will be interesting. You'll get the replay for this. You could probably go back and rewatch it because this is your way of kind of getting to know parts of him, I guess. That you wouldn't have known about. And I've only done one reading for Janie, and it's funny that you started with this sense of humor that's a bit different, and straight away that reminded me of you, Janie, in regards to the sense of humor.
I know, I'm like, I think I can relate to that.
Yes. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, this like a little bit funny, a little bit different. What did you say? Was it crude or something like that, Alyce?
To a T.
Like a little
that's exactly what I thought. I thought, oh, I don't know Janie very well. I've done one reading for him. That was the first thing though that I picked up in your energy. So it's very interesting that that's the first thing that you also picked up from this grandfather. So anyway.
Yeah. Thanks, Alyce.
Yeah, that's a different thing. Thank you. Are you feeling all nice and warmed up now, Alyce?
Yeah, I'm hot. Oh my God. Like not like music. I'm like hot, like sweating. Like I can feel the channeling going on.
Yeah, well, you had him all up in your energy there, so
I'm gonna burn a little sage quickly.
Yeah.
Really like immolate the circle of protection.
Yeah, that's an epic sage like little lighty thing, by the way. Yeah, that's intense.
It's mango bowl with the, what do you call it? When you sage in a shell, it's the...
Oh, yes. I don't know what that thing's called.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. All right. So you've done such a great job of the 2 readings there, giving them actually quite a lot of information. I feel you've really packed it in, which is so great in a short amount of time. So did you want to have a look at your when you've done saging that energy in your inbox and see if there was anyone that you wanted to pick there for the 3rd and final reading? We have got one picture in the chat here, which is from Beck as well. So have a feel into, I guess, who you might like to choose for your 3rd and final reading of the night. But in the meantime, remember, if you've got questions for Alyce, there's other mediums I can see on tonight about how she does things or anything like that, or how she feels into things, because every medium psychic is different. It's really interesting to ask those types of questions. So feel free to type them in the chat box, or even just put your hand up if you want to ask anything.
Okay. I think the best photo, just based of like being able to see the quality the best and being able to connect with the eyes the best, just because some of them are a bit far away, so sometimes it's a little harder to read the energy, would be, is it Shah Marie? Perfect. I feel like your photo, is this mum?
You can take yourself off mute. Yeah.
There we go. Thank you. Okay, awesome. Just because I can see your photo really clear there with mum. Okay, let me just connect to her energy as well.
I'm just trying to, oh, there you are.
Now the sage is going off its head. I literally have to put it on then turn it off and put it on and turn it off just because it's too hectic in my face. And the cat's looking at me weird, like that's too much.
Cats love the woo-woos. Didn't surprise me. She was behind. Was it a boy or a girl behind you when you started reading?
Girl, Dream.
Yeah.
She's my firstborn, like cat child. He's like the best. I love it. I love cats, and I never liked cats, and then my husband got me a cat, and I'm like, I love cats. Okay, let's have a look at her energy. Oh, do you want me to show the photo as well so everybody knows? Or is that
Yeah,
okay?
go for it.
Photo? Okay, cool. Just
Yeah.
can you see that photo there? This is mum. So I'm going to connect through her eyes there, and then I feel any energy around her as well. What like sort of someone's aura or their feeling, their sense, and it can sometimes then gauge what's happening on that day or how they felt. So you got to kind of, that's how I have to differentiate. It's not the day, or it's how she was truly feeling. Okay, let's have a look. And this is your mum, isn't it? Yeah, mum's energy.
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look. Oh my God, you guys look so much alike, by the way. Like there's such a connection to you guys. Does she laugh loud? I get this feeling of like laughing a little loud, or there's a feeling of like you knew mum was laughing in the house, or there's like I feel like I can hear her laughing in the house. There's something like, have you heard her voice, or like really like this is so strange. What's coming through is like there's like a feeling of her calling out into your house, or calling out and you kind of hearing someone say your name and being like, what? Like, I don't know. And if it hasn't happened right now, then you may hear it, or it may come to you later, or you might notice it later. Like, you know, when you're kind of home, you hear someone say something, but you're like, did I hear that? Or didn't I hear that? There's a feeling of like being called or being called out to you. Also, she's come to you in a dream, or there's a feeling around like a dream state where she's tried to connect with you. Have you had this experience already with her? Okay, good.
Yeah.
To clarify, because this was important for you to have this connection. And I think when you woke up, you go, was she that her? Wasn't it her? Was that just a dream? She's saying, no, this was me coming to you. She's saying, like, I showed you I was at peace. I was showing you I'm okay. Like, everything is relaxed now. I'm relieved. Like, everything is good. Does that make sense? And I get this feeling around that she, like, it was important for her to say goodbye, because I felt like there's a feeling of like you saying like, don't ever leave me without saying goodbye. Don't ever like go without saying goodbye. So it's like, I needed to do this to say goodbye to you. It was very important that I had that there. Do you have her earrings? Is a feeling of like a loop or something round? There's a feeling around jewelry and it's round. Does it make sense?
A ring.
A ring. Okay. Because I'm like, showing me this, and it's a piece of jewelry, and this is hers. And I feel like this is something though that she had or wore regularly. It's not just like something she had. This is a regular piece of jewelry or something that was really important to her.
Yeah.
And you have her photo up in a important place. There's a feeling around, it's like the lounge room, or there's like a space, and I see her photo. And then you've got other family photos, but there's a feeling of like this one's like at the front or like important, and like you pass it regularly, and she's like, she's got me there all the time. You can see me, like she's so proud of like being there and reminded in that space. Feels like she comes up like at family things or family events. Like it's like a feeling of like, she's like, I go to the mall, like I'm not missing a family event, like I'm there like all the time. So there's a feeling of like knowing, is there something important that came up after her passing that it felt like it was like a birthday or anniversary or something important. There was a family event, and it was the first one after her passing, and it felt strange because there's a feeling around like you're all together, and she's like, I'm trying to let everyone know that I'm there, but it was so hard to not be able to like have that connection, or like to be able to say I'm here. And this would have, I feel like this was in the first couple of months after the passing, like 2 months, 3 months max. And go back and think about it later if you can't think of it right now, because I know it's a lot of information quickly, but there's something around the 2 to 3 mark after her passing of a family event or a family connection. And this is where I feel like it's coming up that she was like, I'm there. You just wasn't sure that I was there. Does she travel? There's a feeling of like traveling. Like I keep getting like, I'm a traveler. I like to travel, you know, like because I feeling of like she wants this for you too. She wants you to explore more and wants you to go away more. There's a feeling of like, I need to do this more, or I've put it off, or I haven't doing it. So she's like, get back overseas, like start going on trips again. Like you need to start getting yourself back there. She wants you to be doing this again. And are you going somewhere tropical soon? There's something like going overseas or going on holiday or like going somewhere hot.
Yes. Yeah.
And she's like, they're going away. They're going to go away soon. I'm excited for you to go. Oh, she's touching my hair. I can feel her on the back of my head. Did she touch your hair? There's a feeling of like, have you noticed this? Because I feel like she's touching my hair as in to let you know I'm touching your hair, or I touch your hair regularly. Did she have something with the head though? Actually, anything go on with the head near her passing? Like anything, blood clots, brain issues, anything, like, because I'm like touching the back of my head injury.
She lost her hair.
Oh, she lost her hair.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's to do with her head. I'm like, what happened with her head or hair?
Yeah.
So she lost her hair. Okay, cool. That makes sense to me. Because this was not easy for her, because I love my hair and I liked my hair, so this was hard for me specifically. But now that she passed, she goes, it's just hair. Like, what was I even worried about? Like, you know, the way she comes through. Although she did handle these things quite well. Like, it was just a process over time, and that's where she felt like that there. And she was married, yes.
Yeah.
And it was like, I feel like, was there anyone else? Like, this is the second marriage, or they're like, I felt like there was a second marriage, or was like not her first husband, it was like the second husband, but much better relationship, or a feeling of like much more supported or loved in this space than the previous one, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Good timing, hubby.
I know.
At least he was dressed.
Yeah, exactly. At least he's got pants on, you know. Okay. Near the end, I feel quite frail or quite thin or a shell of myself. I'm not the same person as I previously was. I feel like I was ready. Like, this was ready. I was ready. And I feel as though when I did pass, like I feel very much like I understood my life weirdly. There's this feeling coming through of like, I understood my life. I understood my purpose, understand why I'm here, even though I feel like I didn't want to leave while I was here. It was the end, like just before the very end, I feel like I went into palliative, or I went to sleep. There's a feeling around like near the end, but just before this, I had this realization of, okay, I understand now. I'm okay and I'm ready. Like, this is okay. But it was just before this, like a few weeks before, I'm like, I'm not ready to go. I don't want to leave you. Are you going to be okay? What are you going to do? You know, there's this panic in her around that time. But then she realized, what am I talking about? You know what you're doing. You know what you can do this. I know you can do this. Like, if anything, I feel like such a believer, like she's such a believer in you, such like, you know, there's a feeling of like not always saying it. And I needed to say it more. I should have told you more how much I believed in you. The thing is, I sometimes got caught up thinking you knew, or I got caught up thinking that you just had it together and you always had it together. And so I sometimes forget to say it more often, if that makes sense. But there comes through of a real, like, she also comes across as like it's not highly emotional, if that makes sense. So there's a feeling of like, sometimes I wasn't always showing my full emotion. I may show it to other people in a weird way. It's like kind of like I could be empathetic to other people, or it'll be gentle with them. But sometimes I needed to be more gentle, empathetic with my own kids and my own space, if that makes sense. I think there's times where I was a bit tough because I wanted you to do well. I wanted you so much have everything in life. And so sometimes I would, you know, not always show it in the best way, but I feel like you're strong. You're strong from that, if that makes sense. But she comes through saying, I love you, I love you, I love you so, so much. Like, with the biggest love heart, like, I love you, I love you, I love you forever and ever and ever. And I will be there through everything that you go through. Is there an anniversary coming up of your wedding or wedding anniversary? There's a feeling of like, you know, this is it. This is your right person, your right place. You found it. You know what you're doing with life. Like, I love you, and I hope that you have an absolutely beautiful life. I will guide you through each and every moment. And I feel like you need to celebrate the small wins and the little things that you need to do in life. Remember to not get complacent with life and work and things like this, and money and stress and kids. She's like, put yourself back to what matters for you. Recenter your energy back to what is important for you. Because she says it's easy to get carried away and not put yourself first. She's saying you need to put yourself first more. Like, you're not doing this enough. You're putting everybody in front of you. And she's like, you need to pull back to you. What do you want for you? So this will make you feel better, and you will feel more aligned once you do this. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know I talk really fast and a lot. And it's like, oh my God, you know, and then after you're like, Jesus, I feel like I've been hit by a wave. But she is so beautiful, very brave, strong soul. She went through a lot. This feels like a battle of a long time though, too.
Yeah.
So I feel like this was like came at one point. We didn't think, we weren't too sure. Then it came back again, if that makes sense. So we
Yeah.
started at one point, we got through it all. We were good. Like, this was great. We were normal. Everything was good. But then we came back to this space, and this
Yeah.
time it was too much, too gone, too quick. And this was my ending. And I understand that. She goes, you know, this was my life contract. This was my, you know, journey. This was where I was meant to go. And I know that feels hard. Was there anything with the throat, by the way? I just felt a bit creaky, and I've started to like, this could be like a tube in the throat near the end, or something like breathing, or a ventilator, or anything like around this place.
She did have a bit of trouble breathing towards the end.
Okay, just because I'm starting to like feel my throat. And anything with the lymph nodes, or like okay.
That's where the cancer started.
Okay, cool. Because I'm feeling like the lymph nodes, or like feeling like something in my lymph nodes, and even in my throat nodes, if that makes sense there. And so this could also contribute to like some of that there. But yeah, I think that's why the second time it was too much in my other nodes. Like, it was kind of, yeah, I just feel like I'm doing this with my body usually. But yeah, she says, this was an experience of life, and I got to live it, and I'm grateful that I got to be here and go through it and have these experiences with you. So she goes, even though it was difficult, it was okay for me to go through it, because I'm a much stronger soul from what I experienced in this lifetime. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Beautiful messages. Did you have any questions, Shamari?
No, I don't think so, but you were spot on.
I hope that helps. Just know she's with you. So
Yeah.
You know? So
Thank you.
so welcome.
So lovely. That was such a beautiful reading. Thank you. I feel like there's some, I don't know, messages that your mum had, Shamari, that I think we could all sort of learn from. Yeah. So that I feel like, what was her name, if you don't mind me asking?
It was Shirley.
Oh, Shirley. I'll be remembering some of the things that came up tonight from Shirley. So that's lovely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for being so vulnerable and putting your hand up for this. Alyce, thank you. Oh my goodness, you have done so great. There's a question for you, actually, if you don't mind. So from Liz, who's one of our little psychic school members, she's an amazing medium as well, actually. She's saying your channeling is so quick. I actually feel like you sped up as you went, like with each reading.
Yes, as I get relaxed, it will kind of feel like I channel spirit heavier, and then it's that letting go of your fear.
Yeah.
Let go of your fear of like being in front of a lot of people and being like, once that relaxes, then spirit comes through a lot better into it.
Yeah, I definitely relate. So you did so good. So Liz is asking, when you connect, how are the messages coming through for you?
Okay. So what I do is, I know it's hard to put into words, but I almost allow spirit to talk for me. I know this sounds really weird, but I almost I say whatever comes to my mind. So in normal life, I try to you think about what you're saying, you try to be respectful, you try not to do the wrong thing. But when I'm in a reading, I try not to think about what I'm saying at all. And then I let spirit just say every single thought that comes to my mind. I just say it very, very quickly.
Surrender.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that way I don't let my ego mind come in and doubt myself of what I'm saying. So if I talk fast, I don't think about what's coming through, and it just happens very, very quickly. But not everybody works that way. Some people prefer to allow it to come in and process before they come out. But for me, I will second guess myself too much. So I just go, boom, 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 and let it happen. But I feel almost taken over sometimes. Like I don't
Yeah.
know what's happening. I just let it go.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's like a picture in my head, or like your third eye. I call it the daydream state. Like it's basically like sitting there in a daydream state and allowing it all to come through. Or I look at a blank wall. If I'm a blank wall, helps to navigate the picture as well. So if I'm like, oh, okay, I feel stuck or something's not working right, I'll just sit and look at the blank wall and let that come through. Or I close my eyes and let the picture come through like I'm seeing it in your mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, thick and fast.
Did you have any other questions, Liz? Because you can unmute yourself. You can actually talk if you want.
Oh no, that was amazing because I sometimes when I connect, it's a bit of a slow process. It comes through and then I pass on the message where I'd love to be channeling that way and just letting it come through quite quickly, but sometimes I get a bit stuck. So yeah, it was just amazing. But no, you answered my question, so it was just amazing to watch. Thank you.
I love, yeah, it's such a good question. I love hearing about how other mediums work. I know that Shannon and I are both quick talkers as well. So I think the three of us actually work quite similarly because I always talk too fast, full stop, in case you hadn't noticed. But if anyone else has any other questions for Alyce, I think actually a really good question might be like, if you wanted to practice this at home, you could probably easily like swap photos with a friend and have a little tune in and just see what comes through for you. And like from Alyce's advice, and which would be and I would say probably Shannon's advice too, is don't filter it, just allow to come out what's going to come out, and you will shock yourself. Like so many people don't realize like how much is accurate. It's not really about getting it right. It's just the matter of practicing. You're not going to know unless you try. So also the difference between how it feels when you get something that makes sense versus when something doesn't make sense, you can start to differentiate between what is your own mind and what is actually information that's coming through. So did anyone else have any advice for people who might want to practice this at home? Alyce or Shan?
Just give it a go. Don't be scared.
It's actually quite easy to look at the photo. Like just look at the photo. I always say look at the photo and what's your initial feeling? Do you feel like good vibes, bad vibes? Do you feel like he's funny, silly, happy, angry? Like go through those kind of like allow yourself like different, you can even write down, okay, checklist of things that like to help you feel like, okay, I'm going to check this. How do I feel when I feel like look at the photo? Think of it like personality traits first. Feel the personality traits. Then pick up on what kind of person were they here like to others. Were they kind and nice to people? Were they angry and mean? Were they, all those sorts of emotions. And then what comes to your head? Like, do you see cars? Do you see like things they liked? Music? What comes to you like little things? And just let that come through for you. And I find it just let the words come out and just go, I'm just going to see whatever comes and not think about it and see what comes out too.
Yeah. And know that as well, it just because it comes through a certain way for, you've watched Alyce do it and it comes through a certain way for her or the way that she's explained, or maybe you've watched TV shows and they explain how it works for them. If it's not working that way for you, that doesn't mean it's incorrect. Just allow it to come through how it comes through for you, because there is no intuitive ever that works exactly the same way. So just be open to how it's going to come through. It's never what you think. I tell you, from when I was a young kid to how I thought mediumship was going to be, so to being a medium, it's definitely not like in The Sixth Sense. Like they were all traumatized, I think, from that movie around working with spirit. It doesn't work like that for the majority of mediums. Sorry, were you going to say something, Shan?
I was just thinking Ghost Whisperer, right? We all expect it to be like that, to actually see an actual person, and it's really not like that. And it's not full-on conversations either. It's these little snippets of information that come through, and it will be fleeting seconds, if you're lucky, of what comes through. So if you get something and it feels sudden and then it disappears as quick as it came, that was still something.
Yeah.
Don't second guess it.
And validation is key, like really validating like that other person. So when you're practicing being like, yes, that is him, or that makes sense. Yes, he was like that. Those things open the door. So it makes it feel very relaxed. So then you can do it. If you close off and be like, no, or not sure, or come back and tighten up, then it makes it harder for the person to read through the information. So always being really open, really like ready, and just be like, yes, yes, that's great. No, no, that doesn't make sense, and that will help huge in that person's like progress.
Yep. Amazing. Thank you, Alyce. So if you want to go a little bit deeper into this, Alyce is running her masterclass in 2 weeks, or just under 2 weeks from now. Again, you can sign up via any of our links in bio at littlepsychicschool.com. It's only $35. If you are already a member of the Little Psychic School, you get included access to this. So that's just one of the perks if you are a member of Little Psychic School. If you want more woo-woo, you can contact either of us. All of us offer, if you'd like a reading from Alyce, because you've now seen how she works and how great she is, the Bohemian Lightworker, myself is Ms. June Mack, and Shannon the Intuitive Guide, the Little Psychic School. I think that's probably about it for tonight, unless anyone else had anything else for Alyce, or did you want to add anything else at the end? You're probably tired now.
I know I am. I always tired. Sometimes when I do groups, I do 8 to 10 people, and that can be like you're sweating profusely.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite intense, but no, yeah, definitely. I would love you guys to follow along with me. I'm on the Bohemian Lightworker on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. And I often like leave little stories every day, and sometimes I'll give little, feelings of how the week's going or what's happening, numerology, all these different things. I love just being a little wild on Instagram for fun, whatever.
Energy updates. I love your energy updates. I'm always like, oh my God, I totally was feeling that. Now I know why I'm feeling so crap.
Yes. So join, follow along. I'd love to have you guys there. If you have any questions or anything that you wanted to know from tonight and you forgot, just, message me after. Happy to chat to anyone as well.
Oh, there's some lovely thank yous just in the chat. Michelle said I had tears with messages and they weren't even my loved ones, which is so lovely. Paz, thank you, Alyce, stunning and so brave. So very brave. Do you it takes a lot of guts to be able to do what you just did. So honestly, kudos to you. You did an amazing job of it. It's bloody scary. So I'm sweating. I was sweating for you. So I get it.
I apologize for being so shaky at the start.
Oh, not even. No, Laura says thank you. Amazing. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to stop. If any questions, reach out to any of us. I will stop the recording. But thank you so much to everybody that jumped on tonight. We really, really appreciate you coming and watching Alyce do her thing. She did such a good job. Thank you, everyone. It was so nice to see your faces. Have a great night. And thank you on behalf of the Little Psychic School. Thanks, guys.